So, while talking to a buddy this week, I was reminded of a portion of scripture that was really, really well timed for what I'm currently going through, and just wanted to share this with you. So, it's a super common and really well known story in the Bible, the story of Noah and the flood, right? So, in Genesis 6, 7, 8, and 9, we see, we meet Noah and we see what's going on in the earth, and then God gives Noah instructions to build the ark. The flood comes. Noah and his family and the animals survive the flood. Then, after a time, Noah and his family, they reach dry land. And then this conversation happens between the Lord and Noah. And what happens during that conversation has really impacted me deeply. And that's the part of the story I want to focus on. So what happens, Noah is having this conversation with the Lord, and the Lord is telling Noah, this will never happen again. That storm that you all just experienced, that will never happen again. And as they're having this conversation, as the storm is ending, a rainbow forms in the sky. And the Lord points to that rainbow and says, that is a reminder of the covenant between me, the Lord, humanity, and all of creation. There is now a covenant, and this rainbow represents. And it's a reminder of that storm that we all just went through. And from that time on, the rainbow is now a reminder to the Lord of what happened. And it's also a reminder to all of us of the story of Noah. And it's amazing to me because while reading this, I'm seeing God model something that we can do, something that I'm trying to do in my life. And it's looking back at one of the storms you've already been through while you're in the midst of a current storm, and looking at that rainbow that says, you got through that storm already. You're stronger. You're smarter because you got through that storm. So while I'm in the midst of another storm, I get to look back and I get to look at the rainbow of the other storms I've been through to remind me that I'm going to get through this one too. To remind me that God is going to get me through this storm at this time. We've all been through storms. We all have rainbows that we can look back on. Some of us wear scars from the things that we've been through. And I'm going through some stuff. And this reminder, this portion of scripture, this encounter with God, this ancient truth helps me so much. I'm able to look back at some of the history of just my own life and know that I'm going to get through this. God's going to get me through this. I'm looking back at some of the rainbows of some of the stuff that I've been through and remembering, as I'm in the midst of this current struggle, I'm going to get through this thing. I'm going to get past this thing. I love that the rainbow represents the covenant between God and man and all of creation. If you read through Genesis, you read through the creation story, and then you just live life. For me, I experience these encounters with God often while I'm out in nature. It's amazing to me how nature has, there's just this symbiotic spiritual thing that I encounter the things of God while I'm here on the earth, experiencing nature, whether it's, just being on a beautiful mountain and looking. I love the mountains. I like to hike through the mountains, or being in the ocean, the reminder of the power of God. There's something about the connection between the earth and something about animals. Those of you who are pets, who are pet lovers and pet owners, you love your pets. There's something about that relationship that reminds me of God. and reminds me of God's goodness. And so here I am in the midst of a storm. I'm able to look out at creation, able to look back at some of the storms I've already been through. I'm able to look out into the sky and be reminded that there are rainbows in the sky waiting for me at the end of this storm. At the end of this trial, there is a rainbow. So I want to encourage you to do the same thing. When you're in the midst of a struggle, remember the other struggles and trials you've already been through. Remember to look back at those rainbows as reminders that you've gotten through the storms. While you're in the storm, I want to encourage you, and I'm encouraging myself in this as well, to look at what I can learn during this experience. How can I grow? How do I end up better and stronger at the end of this thing? So I want to encourage you, look to the rainbows, your own experiences. Look to the scripture that reminds us that we've been through some stuff and God's going to carry us through what we're currently in.